Hello everyone, welcome to Minecraft. Minecraft, I'm going to speak a little louder, I swear. So, whenever a new version of Minecraft comes out, like 1.20 has a few months ago, which was then followed up by a quick bug fix for 1.20.1, I start a new world. So what I like to do in new worlds is just go around and explore, see if I can find an interesting looking place. One of the nice things that I saw almost immediately, which always piques my interest, is the tall trees from the whichever biome that's called. I'll never know what the names of the biomes are. Sorry, but with the extra large trees, with the giant spruce. So I headed over there and then looked around and could see other things in the valley around here. So I just decided to tool around because I've always had the dream of kind of making a giant spruce tree house. So I wandered around and looked for a place which I happen to like quite a bit. And I've built a couple of test giant spruce, or at least started them, and I've liked the area, but not really. So it's about finding what looks like the right view for the area and building on top of hills like that one over there. Just I like it, and then I very quickly don't. I'm just not sure what it was, but something I've always liked to do is build near rivers, or even oceans, as a matter of fact. I've already given a tour of an ocean place. So I came across this area right here, which, as you can see, I've started building, so we'll take a tour of that. I have started finally making my giant tree. No, it's not done yet. It's going to be pointy. But I had just thrown my boat back here and come around. Obviously, I've been doing building here already. I didn't really plan to do any sort of building things. I think that's a little dull. My content isn't all that exciting anyway. But I found this area and I saw that it is covered on like 3.9 out of 4 sides by some nice looking water, good trees in the distance. There's some giant spruce over there as well. This area, even though of course it looks like a giant spruce, it's actually, if you look, I don't know, somewhere in here. Somewhere in here it says where the what biome I'm in, and it's totally not. There you go, taiga. It's just a regular taiga biome. So these smaller guys were still here. In fact, these two trees right there might be the two last ones that are original to this area. I grow the tall trees for a couple of reasons. Number one, I like them. Number two, they're going to complement this guy when it's done. This is still a little kind of smaller than I wanted it to be, but you have to build projects that you're actually going to be able to deal with. So this one I could deal with. So I ended up building this for my home. But it has a really nice view, one direction, two directions over here. Because the river kind of heads off in that direction. It kind of heads off. It does end pretty quickly over there. It heads off in that direction, and that direction, I believe, is towards... I'm going to wait for just a second. That direction, I don't think is towards the ocean. I think the ocean... Yeah, it's over here where the sandbar is. So the ocean is actually that direction. So there's sort of nice access. It's not directly accessible. You have to hop over the sandbar, but I can remove it if I want. Okay, so what am I doing here? Obviously, I'm growing lots of big trees, and there's reasons for that because, well, if you really want to build a big giant tree like this, you do not get enough wood from these little guys. However, what the little guys do give you is a lot of leaves, which I do need for the top. Grinding for those leaves at the top is just mind-numbing, so that's why I've kind of given up halfway through. Not given up, actually, I'm well on my way. I have a plan for how it's going to work, and in fact I have been grinding for more, we'll ignore that for a second, leaves. So there are lots of leaves, and we'll apply them up there soon enough. So what have I done? Basically, I just started with a 9 across, so the inside has 7, so it's 3, 2, 2, and then repeated. Obviously, I'm leaving this equivalent of a fire scar, so if you've ever looked at an old giant sequoia, frequently dead ones, which are just stumps, we'll have a fire scar that looks kind of like this. No, this is not intentional, and no, I'm not keeping it this way, but I kind of enjoy the fact that it does function like a fire scar. In building a big tree, I didn't want to make it very naturalistic looking, mostly because I wouldn't be very good at that, because drawing naturalistic things with little blocks is just not going to be my thing. I instead tried to make it sort of more Minecrafty, which is the straight, simple trunk. And the idea, though, that I got for the roots was from somebody online, and if I'm really clever, I'll remember to link that in the description down below, but I probably won't. We'll see. But the idea was that design your circle. I did it all the way from the bottom, and then just make 8 lines coming out, sort of from each center point. There's 4, so literally from each one of these, and then from each side point in the center, which is here, and slope a root out. And that's what I've done. So there's 1, 2, here's a diagonal, here's a straight, there's another diagonal, and on around. So I'm just missing 1 at this point, which is the last diagonal over here. And as I said, I'm sort of keeping this for convenience just because it's easy to get in here. I don't think I've invited anybody in, but this is a creeper hole, so this should have been covered with Podzol, but a creeper. So a creeper's gotten close enough. In fact, that's one of the things. I think when it gets relatively but not completely dark out, like before you can go to sleep, there's some spots up on the very top here of these roots where the creepers or just anybody else likes to spawn. So I haven't quite spawn-proofed it yet in that regard. So up and down is always a pain. You can see there's a ladder here. I did use the ladder for a while. It's actually cut off. That light is not in the center. Fantastic. I'm going to have to redo that. That is hilarious. Sorry, I'm amazed. That was the site of my first death. I was putting the light up. I needed to get down farther. I dug the grass block, the dirt block out from underneath me, and then fell to my death here, losing 25 or 26 levels. And I was very annoyed. Luckily, I've died at least 2 more times since then, losing a mid-20s of levels, which has been quite frustrating. So I love that. All right, so how do we get up and down now? And always with something this tall, you have to use the bubble column. So we've got a magma block here for the down, and we have a soul sand block here for the up. You can control, these are all water source blocks, so you have to make them, usually you just pour some water down from the top, and then use some, obviously I've got a bunch of junk in here, use some kelp, fill it all the way up, that converts it into water source blocks, and then just break the kelp, and you've got yourself your water source, which you can go up and down on. However, water sources spread, so you do have to control them. I decided at the bottom to control them with just these flippy, whatever they're called, gates, but that's just to keep them from being so thick, like as thick as a full log. It kind of intruded on, the full log kind of intruded on the aesthetic on the inside a little bit. Not that I really care too much about that aesthetic. By the way, these are BSL shaders. They do quite a good job at this time of night. They do get dark really early, so that's one thing I don't like about this particular shader pack. I've actually been building using Makeup Ultra Fast shaders, and those are actually really nice general use shaders, especially if you don't have a super fast computer. I think I can get to sleep now. Very good. See if anything spawns. Alright, so obviously I'm lighting with torches down here for now, but soon enough I'm going to have something more permanent. I think I will be doing storage down here, because going up and down is still mildly annoying, but you know what? It's not really super annoying. I'm just looking for creepers. I don't hear anything, but who knows, right? Let's go up. So, this is very fast. I fully enjoy popping out of the ground here very fast. Obviously I have this all set up. I just finished getting the last bit of enchanting. One of the things I'm doing with all of my plays right now is not killing any animals. It's more of just an interesting challenge. It does make getting the leather for these books a little inconvenient, but you can get those from the nether, so you kind of have to wait till getting to the nether before you can get enough books. Another way to get it is from villagers. You can get them from the villagers' bookcases. So here we're out looking towards the east. There is a villager encampment right about there, and I have swiped some villagers for that. You may have heard them humming in the side. You can see this is out towards the ocean, so that's a little sandbar. I guess you can get out that way. That shows how far I've gotten. I am so impatient that I've just gone right out there and hopped over the sand. I have not headed out this way much yet, so that needs to be explored. But the only thing I wish we had here was like a big mountain, and there are some big mountains out, I believe, this way, because I've done a bit of exploring there. So this is a really good view. I do enjoy it from up here, but there aren't the big mountain would sort of really do a good job. Maybe at the end I'll put the shaders up to 32 render and we'll deal with like 11 frames a second. But as it is right now, we're at I think 20, and that seems to give a pretty good sort of view. Okay, so you've seen this obviously already. That's a downed log. Obviously I built that as well, and that's where the villager house is. So we'll go down there in just a bit. But as you can see, there is a lot more building to go. Actually, I will go up here and just take a quick peek at how this is all set up. Obviously I still even need to fill in this little bit. What I've decided to do, it's round, so it's sort of un-Minecrafty, but I just decided what the heck, I'm going to make this round. What I'm going to do is alternate bringing 2 stacks, so 2 vertical stacks, which is why you see that they're actually 2 stacked high here, and then make it around. Then we'll bring it in 4, 2 more vertical stacks, bring it out 2 more vertical stacks, bring it in 4, and then just continue on that until the top of the tree. And shouldn't take too long. It's finally getting shorter. One of the limiting factors was having enough metal to make shears out of. This is actually the only iron ingots I have left now. So I got in a lot, then I'd run out, and then I'd gone on another mining trip. I do have a mine here. It is almost completely useless mine. So going down is a little slower here. It's about half the speed of going up. I guess if I was going to do it one way or another, I would choose going up being faster. So I'm okay with the down being a little slower. But yeah, I've just been using up all of my iron to slice these up, and then was also using all of my iron to chop down the trees, and it was going way too fast. So I was trying to think, where did I get all of my iron from? I found a whole bunch of it. I think I just went out into the world and found some areas, because this mine is useless. It did not open up a single cavern down there, and that has turned out not to be very good. So I don't even know if I'm going to keep it, but the one reason I do kind of want to keep it is that, of course, we have the broken stump here, or the broken tree here. I'm going to build a stump around this, and the fire scar, which I will keep in the stump, will be basically the entrance to the mine. Okay, so let's just take a look. This is really simple. So this is a 7 across, I believe, whereas my house is a 9 across. You can see we've got a few of our guys in here. So what did I do? This is generally my strategy for these guys. I found no diamonds, yet I'm covered in diamonds and I've got diamond stuff. I found some diamonds. I think I found 11, but that's not really enough. So I make a weaponsmith, and you can get the diamond sword and axe there. I find the axe and sword to be better than the toolsmith, which is then the pick and the shovel. I mean, shovel, who cares? Pick, I'll spend 3 diamonds on a pick. I needed a diamond pick already. That's how we have an ender portal. But then the other guy is the armor. Definitely, this is my favorite guy. I actually think I made him second, because you do need to have actual emeralds. So he's always first. I mean, if you're living in the trees, you got giant trees, you can just sell sticks. And, well, here's how we do it. Everybody's seen this already, but for the few of you who haven't, make a bunch of sticks. Hello, don't run away from me. Here we go, trades. The worst thing is that he takes his trade down from 32 to 31. So instead of clearing out all 64 sticks, I have 2 left. which I have to move back down here again. And then we'll trade again and move them. So it used to be you could just do it in one motion, but unfortunately my reputation is pretty good for selling lots of stuff to this guy, so I've accumulated one stick. He's basically just doing this intentionally to annoy me. I mean, let's be honest here. I have fully unlocked him. We didn't really get great things here. Crossbow with piercing, blah. I would rather just take the crossbow and then make a disenchant it and re-enchant it, but I actually don't like crossbows. The bow is okay. Throw like 2 to 4 of these together, and you've got an okay starter bow, which is not bad, and then there's just a random crossbow anyway, so you don't even need that. So the crossbow is a little disappointing, but that's fine. Really, this is all I need out of him. The stick trades, and the stick trade is really common, so you can just throw down his little flexion table once or twice, and you'll get the stick trade. So stick trade first. Second, armor. Because these cost a lot of diamonds, and these do not. Your tools don't. So get your armor first. You have to buy a bunch of boots. You might have seen in the chest over there, I have almost a complete chest just full of all of this stuff. Because that's how you got to get his levels up. There's just no way. But once you get to the higher levels, you don't have to buy too many of them. So I've got one of each of these, and in fact, that is just what I'm wearing. And because some of these are halfway decent like that, I'll end up buying 4 of those and knocking them together and have Prot 3 and Respiration 3. I'll buy 2 of these, knock them together, Protection 3, a couple of these, So they're not too expensive. I don't need them yet. My current diamond armor is doing quite well, but that's always good. I did want to get mending, so you just don't have to worry about losing stuff anymore or whatever, but I'll get mending soon enough. Fortune 3 was good, and I haven't really started using it because I put Fortune 3, there it is, on my iron shovel so that I could level him up. And that's how I did. I ended up leveling him up using this flint, because when you put Fortune 3 on your iron shovel, you get all flint out of the stones, the loose stones, whatever it's called. Got loads of it in the river there. So 100% conversion is really good. That's also why this thing is almost out of durability. I actually have a shovel to knock it together with, which has Unbreaking 3, but I kind of don't need to level them up anymore, so that's kind of on the back burner as well. This is, again, it's an okay diamond axe. I'll knock a few of them together. Looks like I already have knocked 2 of them together, because that's doubled up. And I'm using the sword because I'm getting levels from killing the piglins or the undead piglins in the nether. So the sweeping edge is actually fairly decent. So I'm going okay on here. Basically, we will just be getting lots more of these guys so I can get all the enchantments that I prefer. But this is where they live. This is not very exciting. There's lots of beds in here. I can make lots more because there are some sheep that spawned on the island there before this guy over here ate them all. Where is he? He's wandered off. Well, there's a wolf in here that basically just came by and ate all my sheep, but luckily what I did do is grab a whole bunch of wool from them using my very valuable shears that I also use to trim the trees, and that's been good enough. So I will find some more sheep as well. So you still have lots of wool left, because we will use that to get netherite in the nether, of course, by blowing up beds. But in any case, excuse me, this has turned out to be pretty well. It turned out to be pretty good. I have definitely not made a big tree before. I actually had a place that I picked out before this one, so my previous save had been picked out all for that, and it was a good location, but not really great one. I've tried it. I have at least 3 or 4 more saves on this machine that has attempts at finding a good place for this. But as soon as I set foot here, there's a few trees. It's mostly just grass. It's covered by water. It looked like it had just enough space for this guy. And I thought, hey, this was perfect. This is actually a place where I can finally put the effort into making it, which clearly is going on pretty well. All right, so what's next? What do I have planned? I'll probably do a couple of videos on this. I had my previous one with the ziggurat. That was never really intended to be a playthrough. It was more putting a couple of videos up just to see how it goes. I did like how that ziggurat turned out. It was pretty nice. But the rest, I didn't have like a theme for the build. This, I've got a theme for the build. You know, we've got the stump that's got to go in there. Not entirely sure what I'll do for the Ender Portal, but it needs to have a house of some sort. I mean, maybe they'll all just be sort of forest trees, but maybe I'll bring in an oak tree and make a really giant oak for that. So what do I have left to do? Like, what are the projects? For one, I do need to knock these two shovels together, but I don't think I have enough. I believe this is 14. As you can see, I'm I have as close to 14 as possible without actually having 14. So if I sell literally one more stick, that will do it. But you know what? I have no wood. I did find a cherry tree, which was nice, so I can grow some cherry trees. Maybe I'll make that into a giant cherry tree over there. In any case, I've got a few more bits of equipment that I want to focus on. Once I'm done with the equipment, I will finish the tree. Then we've got to go to the nether, because I got to find the nether fortress, because I do like using potions for things, so I need to have a nether fortress for that, so that I can get the blaze rods and, of course, the nether wart to make the potions. And we'll see. I am going to expand this. One of the best ways, I sort of cut myself off while I thought about something else, but I did want to mention. I swiped these guys from the other place back that way. It's a pretty big village. There's a lot more villagers to go, though there's 3 nitwits, so that's a little disappointing that I can't really use them for anything, though you can breed them, at least to get more villagers. So, these guys will make more villagers on their own, but the easiest way to do that is to get a farmer and give him a place to farm. So he will farm, he'll be happy, he will throw food at these guys, they'll make all the baby villagers you want. So what I usually do is take something like this, fence it off all the way around, make a little farm, give them a little bit of outdoor quality of life. I will probably have to fill this in so they don't fall in. That's the biggest thing, is that they will get out. So I may not make it all the way around. There actually was a door over here, but it was inconvenient. They kept trying to walk away while I was trying to get them inside. I might make a video of just sort of showing how to get them inside, but generally placing job blocks, getting them close enough to where a job block is, they'll almost always run over to it, and occasionally they won't, but you can just use your boat to pick them up. I didn't want to do that. So what I'll probably do is we'll make them a yard here. We'll make them a big old yard, probably just bring it out here, maybe to halfway. I would like to leave sort of these naturalistic areas in, so I'll maybe bring it all the way out to here. And they'll have a place to farm. And then I'll bring a farmer over. There's already a farmer there, so I can just bring him over. But I'll bring somebody over with a composter, make a farm. And as soon as that gets going, they will fill up every one of these beds. The biggest thing that is going to happen real soon, once you have an increase in population, is you will get an iron golem. And I don't know what I want to do with them. I don't mind them clumping around like in the other build that I showed, because I had a lot of room, but I don't really want to make a whole lot of open space here. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just have a bunch of iron golems just wandering around, which is fine because they at least keep the zombies down, even if they don't do much, I think, to the skellies or the creepers. But that's okay. In any case, this was fun. Let's go to the top and let's put the render distance all the way up and see what we can see. You realize by the time we get up here, it's probably going to rain. Options, video, shader. I didn't want to do that. These are the Makeup Ultra Fast shaders, highly recommended. I've basically been using them the entire time, and they work really well. All right, 32 chunks, apply, done, back, woo, flash. And let's let this render in. Turn around, let everything go. And it's a pretty nice view. This is why I wanted to choose this, is to find a place where the view for the water is really nice, and this is. And that's what's been missing from most of my other views. It's either been no water because it's been in the middle. That's the big in the middle. It's been in the middle of a giant taiga, and they're usually up, well, not always, but they're usually up a mountain. And if you're not up the mountain, then you don't have a view. But here you've got enough water, but enough color, and then we've got, this looks like a birch forest, and then that's probably an oak forest. Can we see, let's see if we can see the, village from here. So I have to think the village is that way, so we'll turn that way in a bit. And it's a little mountain. I mean, it's not even a mountain, that's just a cut. Actually, there's a whole bunch of this sort of sliced up area, and that's why I didn't build there. So that was the place we spawned, right about there, and that was where I was looking and seeing the tall taiga or the tall spruce trees. But then I saw this area and I'm like, oh, I don't really like where it's dominated. And in fact, that's what some of my other ones looked like too, is they really were dominated by those sort of ugly edges, and I don't really like them too much. They can work depending on the area, but I didn't like them. Yeah, the village, it's right there, and in fact, those might be the tops of some of the houses that are up the slope, but most of the village is down right by the water. So that's kind of cool, and that village is where I've been swiping my villagers from. And then this area is the spot I really haven't been too far, but as you can see, there's a whole lot of taiga over there as well. So this view turned out to be about as good as I could have hoped. That's something I've really kind of enjoyed, and it's kept me moving with this build. So I might move this downstairs and dig this out again and make more of the ladder. We'll see. Obviously, I have my bed that I prefer to sleep in up here, and you can get up really quick with the bubble column, so that's nice. This is west. I always love watching the sun go down when going to bed, and then you just turn around and see it rise over here. The roof is a little low, but I'm worried about the view from the down south kind of being very lumpy. I don't know. I probably should have done one of these on one side, and then, or on two opposite sides, and built these maybe a little higher up. But you know what? That'll be for the next tree. Hey, I don't need only one. And you can jump from here, but I'll hit my head, I think, if I jump. And I have done it, and I didn't die, but I have almost the levels I need for my spoon here. So I don't think I'm going to jump just this time. All right, well, this has been fun. I hope the audio turned out well, because when I did my test, it did well, except to be out of sync, so we'll see. Hopefully I will have a new video for you shortly with some more progress on this build. I'll talk to you all later.